All right, guys, you're back. Mark and Tom, TCG&Whiskey. We're just going to be going over some hot topics today in the UFC. No fights this weekend, so we figured we'd go over a few potential fights, future matchmakers, and a couple complaints guys are having and stuff. But first, let's say thank you to our sponsor, Tampa Bless Home Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information. All right, guys, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with Diaz calling out Conor. Now, that's a good call out for Diaz, of course. It's a money fight. It's always a money fight. But does he go for Diaz? Does he go for Poirier? There's a new guy I see in the mix that people are calling for Conor. They want to see Conor fight Jose Aldo at a little bit higher of a weight because he's a little smaller. He's already beat him. And Aldo looks great right now, too. So, Tom, what do you think's going on here? You're a huge Conor fan. Everybody knows that. Do you see Conor going for Poirier? Because there's some real beef there. Does he go for Diaz because it's always a money fight? Does he go for somebody that's, let's say, a little more beatable? I don't want to diss on Aldo. He's one of the greatest, but he's in shape for bantamweight right now. So what do you see happening there?
Well, I'm a huge Diaz fan as well. I think it's premature. I just think Conor, that's all premature. We got to see what happens. I don't see Conor fighting before the summer of 2022. These other guys are going to get a fight in before then. I think Aldo looked great last fight, and that's not the move for him. I think Aldo, we could talk about it a little bit later because you brought up potentially fighting TJ. And we're going to be talking about that down the line here. I think that's definitely worth discussing. I don't see him fighting Conor. I think Nate would love to fight Poirier, and I would think that would be nice at a catch weight. As far as anything Conor, though, for me, I just think it's premature. The guy is still in a cast.
Right. He looks like he's moving around great. His recovery looks to be good. You still see him in the gym. I mean, Mac life, he's looking all right.
I mean, he's doing pull-ups. He's doing
Yeah,
pull-ups. You know what I mean?
he's looking like the recovery's gonna be good. Let's put it that way. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like he's in agonizing pain or not training, not doing his physical therapy or anything like that. So you're all right. So
Now, the number one thing
well,
is
who
going
do
to
you want to
be
see him fight
is
when he
going to be
comes
mental.
back? Let's get to the
Well, let me just say real quick. The number one thing for Conor is going to be mental. This could be very depressing sometimes when you have an injury like this. You're trying to stay relevant, but at the same time, your life is hindered. It's changed a lot. He is a go type guy, and he's still doing it with a cast, but you have to be aware of that. That you could have your ups and downs there with some little bit of deeper downs than normal because of your situation. So, who would I like to see Conor fight when he comes back? I would like to see Conor fight Dustin, number 4, or Nate, number 3. Either one, I'd be cool with that. I'm not interested in Aldo because Aldo is excelling right now. He's kind of I believe he's rising in the ranks in his own world.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is. Is at the same time though, if you beat Conor, even though Conor hasn't had a win lately, that super excels you because you just beat Conor. Everybody's
Well,
eyes are on you.
well, it also boosts your bank account too. Ask Dustin.
Well, that's why they all want to fight him. I nobody argues that
I
one.
mean, Dustin, you would think right now that Dustin would be immediately going for Charles.
Right.
But the talk is about who Connor's going to fight when he comes back in a year.
Yeah. Well, that's because Diaz is calling him
It
out.
just goes to show
Yeah.
you. No, true. But Diaz is not in line for a belt fight.
Neither is
You would
Conor.
think, even though Diaz could potentially get one, you just don't know that for a fact. He might be able to. He's the type of guy that might be able to work himself into it. Now, Conor could, I think, only by setting up the Conor Poirier number 4. If Dustin had the belt at that time, I think he could leapfrog right into that. Yes.
I agree. All right, let's move it right on. The next one's kind of a big deal because Dana came out in the press conference saying that Leon should maybe fight again. He hasn't fought in a while, like 2 years, he said, which is not true. And then
Completely
and
false.
then we're wondering after the Kobe fight, depending on if Usman or Kobe wins, who gets the next shot at that belt? We saw Vicente Luque look like a stud a true performance there, choking out Chiesa, like, just unbelievable. He beat him in his own game so fast, so fluid. Props to Vicente. He's been looking better and better. He's obviously been working.
Yeah.
But Leon,
he's rising in the ranks.
Leon
too.
has what? I think it's like 10 wins in a row. I mean, it's ridiculous what he's got. He's got 10 wins. He did just win 2 fights. I mean, they weren't like yesterday, but he did literally just win.
I mean, it was 8 weeks ago because I remember the fight was on my birthday. It was just a fight.
Right.
So it wasn't even 2 months tomorrow.
Plus, he beat Bilal Muhammad not that long ago. I mean, I understand it was an eye rake, but he was winning that fight. It was short. He looked like he was just going to dominate. I'm not going to say he was going to. But he did get the win. He got the nod. And like you said, he just beat another guy. So what do we see happening? I mean, we got Gilbert Burns, the little bull right there, too. Just beat Stephen Thompson, who's a very difficult opponent for almost all these guys up there. He's sitting at number 2 behind Kobe. And Kobe's getting the next shot. Where is Leon Edwards even ranked right now? It's ridiculous. So it's Kobe, Burns, Leon, Luque at number 4. Yeah. Thompson's still number 5. It's a mess that Dana's trying to say that Leon's not deserving of a title shot on the spot. He could say, I don't know, but he's saying it'd be a good idea for Leon to take another fight. And it's like, who does he even take? Gilbert Burns? I mean,
Burns could be up for that, but Burns was already wanting to fight the money fights like a Diaz or something.
That's because they don't want to give him the belt again right away because it's tied up. Kobe's getting it. We know that, so that's going to be a while. Then you got to wait for that. And he looks to keep active. And I'll be honest, Burns has impressed me a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He's looked better and better. First, he was beating some cans. I'm like, all right, this guy's looks good, but he's not. I don't want to call them lucky wins. They're not lucky wins by any means, but he was beating some guys that weren't ranked, and he looked flashy. And they give him this fight 4 fights in. But now he looks impressive. Every time he goes out there, I'm pretty excited to watch Gilbert Burns fight, actually. He's really grown on me.
Yeah, and
I like him a lot.
He's got a bit of a mean streak, too, to where he comes in and he's not looking to really, like, tap gloves in between rounds. And I kind of like that, man, when they're coming to fight like that. You know,
yeah, he looks good. But so who gets the next shot? I mean, how do you skip Leon?
This is what I think. I think it depends on. First off, it's going to depend on who wins. If Kobe wins, I don't know if the UFC is going to dictate to him who he fights. So we'll see. If Usman wins, Usman may take that Leon rematch, and a lot more easy than maybe a Kobe would. We'll see what happens. I think if Kobe wins, you could potentially, even though he's not right there, I think Jorge has a shot at that. Because they have prior beef.
I know they got beef, but there's no way they skip Leon, Burns, Luque for Masvidal.
Okay,
Masvidal's ranked 6.
I wanted to bring up. Okay, just hear me out. I want to bring this up too. I think if Leon was they forced his hand into another fight, I think it's a very tough fight that he could lose. He should fight Burns. I think that would be. A lot of people would be interested in that fight.
I'd be very interested in that fight as a true fan. I would hope that Leon sits out and doesn't fight Burns because Burns is
right.
That could turn, like I said,
that could turn into a Tony Ferguson type decision.
He can lose to Burns easily. I'm not saying he will. That's a different topic. We'll cover that when it comes around. But Burns is so good, he can beat anyone up there right now. We saw he looked good against Usman. He did lose. He got caught, but he caught Usman. One of the few guys who caught Usman away, too.
Leon could fight Jorge. I mean, they have beef already. He could fight Jorge. He could fight Luque. I don't think any of these fights are a walk in the park for him.
None of them are a walk in the park.
Potentially. Yeah. They're all potentially could be, a Tony Ferguson type scenario where if you have a bad show, then now you're eliminated from the prospect of the belt.
That's why if I'm Leon, I'm trying to hold out and make my stake. But
right. I think he can. I think he could do that. Just as clear that Dana mixed up 2 months with 2 years, that he's already not really focused on Leon's career. So Leon needs to focus on his career and not allow Dana to sidetrack him.
Right.
But one thing I did want to mention, just in terms of just, possible scenarios, if Colby wins, say in the meantime, Usman fights Colby. But in the meantime, I think an intriguing matchup also could be Masvidal versus Luque. I think that could be a nice little punch out. I would be interested in seeing that in the meantime. Because I'm wondering who's Masvidal going to fight. I think Luque is a good matchup because who's Luque going to fight? Is he going to go fight Burns? Maybe. Is he going to fight Leon? I don't think that's a good move for Leon. He should hold out.
Right. I think Luque should obviously pitch his side and try to get the belt as much as I think Leon should do the same. And I think Jorge should rematch Diaz. Diaz needs a partner. I'd like to see them rematch because I know Jorge beat him, but that was the cut. Obviously,
that was the cut.
We know Diaz does not surrender to anyone. We've seen it every time.
Jorge was definitely working him, but he wasn't done.
No, he was coming to life
too.
He was coming to life.
No, he was. He was starting to come to life. He did take a pounding those rounds. He definitely lost round by round, but it doesn't mean he wouldn't have come back and pulled a potential like he almost did with Leon there.
It's crazy. Another round, he maybe beats Leon.
Right.
But that's the whole point. I'd like to see them go at it again if I had a pick.
I wouldn't mind that either. That would be great. But I'm just saying within the division there, I mean, Diaz is such a wild card. It really just depends on.
That's a money fight, though. He's a money kind of fighter. He'll probably would take that one.
I mean, Jorge's a money fighter too.
Right.
Those guys are both.
That's why I think that'd be the rematch. We spent enough time on that one.
Within the weight division, I'd like to see Jorge versus Luque.
Okay. Now we'll move it right along. We got Sugar Sean Omalley calling out the UFC on pay discrepancies and saying they're basically trying to strong arm him into a fight. They want him to fight at MSG. He's like, nah, I don't want to fight at MSG. The taxes are high in New York. I don't want to fly to New York. It's far. I would rather just fight right here in Vegas because I think he's, Phoenix? Arizona guy. I don't know if he's in Phoenix, but he's in Arizona. So he's right over there, 2-minute flight. And he doesn't want to pay New York taxes, which I don't blame him. I'm from New York. I know the taxes are brutal over there. So, do we see a little more? How does Dana keep sidestepping every fighter, basically calling him out on this pay discrepancy? And does it matter that Sugar did it? Sugar's got a very big following.
So is Sugar not going to participate in that?
He said no. Card? He denied taking that fight. He said he's not going to take it. He doesn't want to go to New York. He doesn't like, for whatever reason, he doesn't like New York. And I guess Sean Shelby got mad at him. He said, told him, fine, just hang out with 6ix9ine some more. And basically yelled at him and said, he degraded him, basically, is what he said. He belittled him. And obviously he came out and said something about it, so he did not like it. And I don't know. He's got it. Like
the whole 6ix9ine thing. The whole 6ix9ine thing's comical too, man.
It's comical, but
tattooed.
The real aspect is
corny as ever.
The fighter pay here. They're strong arming them. I like the strong arm personally because otherwise these guys don't fight. That's the one beauty of the UFC is the strong arm because they make fights happen that we want to see.
You've gotten a little too full of yourself to turn down MSG. That's the mecca of fighting on earth for so many years. I just think you've become a little too full of yourself. I mean, I see your side is in terms of finances, but in terms of venue, come on, man.
I agree, but he's saying that he'll get beat up on taxes and he'd rather keep the money in his pocket. Maybe if they offered him more money, I mean, I don't know exactly. I'm not on the phone
he'll fight a ranked. He'll finally fight somebody that's ranked.
Well, we all want
that'd be nice too.
Yeah, we'd love to see that. All right, we won't spend too much time on that. We agree they need to pay their fighters a little bit.
Jake Paul called it out for a while. We had a number of issues like that. I mean, I'm not against what they're saying. I think they should be paid more, but I am a little shocked that you would turn down MSG card. I understand that you want to get the finances right, but what a great opportunity, in terms because he's got a lot of other business ventures. It's a great
Yeah.
opportunity to be seen there.
Right. Well, I see both sides to the story. They definitely should pay their fighters more. I just don't think they should pay every fighter more. I love that there's win bonuses and everything like that.
Yeah.
It keeps guys in it. You get guys, look at what happens in the other sports. These guys get 40 million a year and then they're like, I'm not getting enough, and they ride the bench. I'm holding out for more, and it ruins the aspect. It ruins the experience for the fans. I like that part. I do think they should pay all of them more, especially their stars. But I do like the up and comers having to earn their keep per se.
Mm. It's difficult.
Performance based contracts to me is what I'd like to see more of.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too, but we could also, the other side of that is back in the day when Master P negotiated Ricky Williams' performance-based contract, and it turned out not to work out too well, and no one really wants that. Some people want some guaranteed money.
Yeah, I mean, there should be some guaranteed money, and there is. If you show up and make weight, you are guaranteed some money in the UFC. You win, you make more money.
No, I hear you.
UFC, so.
I like the balance. I like the balance between the two.
Right.
It definitely shouldn't be all. If it's going to be one or the other, it should be guaranteed money.
Right. All right, let's beat it right on. Got another one. This is kind of surprising. According to Coach Winklejohn, no one's looking to fight Holly Holm right now. They say she's getting turned down, or she's already beaten the same girl 3-4 times. Holly's a stud, but she's aging, so she needs to get in there if she's looking to have a few more fights. But she's no walk in the park. I mean, she basically beats everyone in the division besides, say, Nunes. And they're saying she doesn't even want to fight at 145. She has to go up because nobody else will fight her. So she's supposed to fight Dumond or whatever at 145. And they're like, it's our only option because everybody else has refused to fight Holly Holm. Don't you think these girls would be kind of running for Holly Holm? If you beat Holly Holm, you're almost a guaranteed for Nunes. You're a contender once you beat Holly.
Yeah, it's a big notch in your belt. Plus, didn't Misha already say she wanted to fight Holly?
According to Coach Winklejohn, they offered the fight to Misha, and she said no, she's not ready, not now. She doesn't want it.
Okay. I could see that. It might be too quick.
She wants another tune-up fight, I guess, before.
Right.
I mean, which they really shouldn't tune up. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm not a professional fighter. I can't say, but
No, I agree with you on that because they allow certain people that they're trying to groom tune-ups.
Misha's not a groom.
Other people
though.
can
Misha's
return.
A veteran of the sport.
Right, but you can bring
and you
in
could lose to some
viewers
chump
on her, even if. Right, but you could bring in viewers based on Misha's previous rep each time she goes, and as long as you can get a win, it'll grow each time. But if she comes in and gets face planted, that viewage isn't going to be the same. The people aren't going to want to. They're going to be like, okay, she just got crushed. It's not as interesting.
I agree, but if she goes out and gets crushed by some girl who's number 10 on the roster, I mean, I'm not looking at the rankings for them right now because they're looking to tune her up. Let me take a look here. I mean, who's she even fight here? Pound for pound women.
Yeah,
I mean,
it looks like Holly's trying to fight somebody, and they're just ducking her. Is what I'm getting from the story.
They said Jeraine Duran. I mean, doctor. They said, I don't know about Aspen Ladd. I guess Aspen Ladd was supposed to fight all the way down to number 10, but Misha Tate ranked number 8 right now. Who does she fight? Ketlin Vieira, Yana Kitskuyana. I mean, Pena's looking to fight for the belt. So they're like, we've already beat Aldana. We've already beat. They named a few people, but they said they're all ducking her. And now what happens if Misha goes and fights Julia Avila, number 13, and loses that? Avila is awesome. The Raging Panda is very talented, good. You can easily lose that. And she's number 13. Then you fall off a cliff. You lose to Holly Holm, you say it was a little early, and you can jump back on the horse.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that, actually. That's another angle that I would agree with in terms of strategy, in terms of playing your cards right.
Yeah. Well, we won't.
No, I don't really know what else to say on it. It just sounds like a bad situation for Holly Holm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Holly out there. She brings it every time. She's not my favorite fighter. She's normally a little boring for me. She likes to clinch and just control. She does, but I'd still like to see her fight a few
She's
more
always
times.
the thing I like about Holly is she's just such a specimen in terms of just being, ripped and in prime condition. Her training is something else, man.
She's in
And that's
phenomenal
what
shape.
I respect the most out about Holly Holm. When I think of Holly Holm, I just think of serious determination and just perseverance over the years, and someone that really gets after it in the gym and is just like a really high end gym
I
rat.
think she's
You know what I
almost
mean?
39, Holly.
Dude, her workouts put almost any dude to shame.
No, she's in shape, no question. Her diet's got to be on point. Her workouts are on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, she brings it. But so all right,
Yeah. No, I like Holly. I like Holly. I've liked Holly for a long time. She might not be the most exciting fighter, but I respect her.
all right. So now we got Jose Aldo is basically calling out T.J. Dillashaw, and then that will be the title shot. I like the fight for Jose. I don't like the fight for TJ, in my opinion. TJ should hold out for the belt. He had the belt. He never truly lost the belt. He just put a beat down on. It wasn't a beat down. It was a very close fight, but
It was a close fight.
he was impressive though in that fight. Coming back, his first
I had
fight.
him winning as well, even though that was disputed. But I had him winning as well. And Corey Sandhagen is no joke. That's who maybe Aldo should fight. Is Corey, or what's up with Rob Font? Who's he fighting, man? I loved Rob Font's last fight. I thought he owned Garbrandt.
Yeah, I mean, we got Aljo's the champ who's going to fight Jan. I'd probably be picking Jan in that fight. Piotr was going to beat him in that fight. Dumbest knee I've ever seen. It was weird. Then TJ's number 2. If I'm TJ, I'm holding out. Sandhagen 3, Font 4, Jose's 5 right now. And then Marlon Moraes is 6. And then they have...
Moraes is already fighting Merab.
Right, and Moraes just lost to Jose. That was his fight with Jose. Right before that...
But he's already booked. He's booked for that Volk card,
yeah.
266 in September 25th.
Garbrandt's going down in weight. I mean, I'd love to see Jose fight Sandhagen. That'd be a great fight.
Or Font.
Or Font. They're both boxers. I'd like to see that.
Yep.
I just see it as a horrible, another Tony Ferguson potential case right there for TJ. If I'm TJ, there's no way I'm taking that fight. I'm not looking for that fight. I'm looking for the belt only. I didn't lose. I beat your number 1 contender. I looked like an absolute stud when I did it. So he took damage, but who else takes that kind of damage and just keeps pressing forward, not able to even see out of his eye? There's no question he couldn't see. I believe him when he says that. His eye was covered in blood. That cut was huge. It was a great fight. There's no way I'm taking that if I'm him. If I'm Jose,
that fight was potentially fight of the year. That was a great fight.
If I'm Jose, I'm pushing for it. But if I'm TJ, I'm saying no. I'll hold.
No, I agree. Sandhagen might try to jump on that. That would be a good one for him. I think it's also good for Rob Font, but maybe Rob's trying to hold out too. I don't know.
I don't know if Rob gets to hold out. I think TJ does because he was the champion. He didn't technically lose it. Rob beat.
I think any one of those. If you took Rob, Jose, and Corey, any way you flip that, any fight you make in that, it's a great fight.
I agree, and then they should get a line after TJ if either one of them beats.
Right.
But I think one of them.
I like that.
I think one of them
that.
has to beat one of them to be in line. I think TJ's definitely in line. It just makes sense. So, to me.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm in agreement. I like that.
Yeah. Now we got another guy.
I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it's gonna be interesting to see what bookings occur, But I do like that Merab versus Moraes that they booked that up. That's an opportunity for Merab to kind of move down the ranks a little bit.
I'm a huge Merab fan, so
it's a good one. It's a good one because I think Moraes might be number 7 and Merab's like 10.
So
it's
he's
good
opportunity. Moraes is 6 and Merab is 11 right now.
It's a good opportunity.
I'm going to tell you, I think Merab takes that fight down.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll cover
Yeah,
that
we'll
though when
cover
we
that.
get there. But that's interesting.
It's
I'm
interesting.
glad they booked it.
All right. Then we got another big name, also coached by John Winklejohn, John Jones. And Winklejohn's basically saying, no, Stipe doesn't make any sense. It's not in consideration for them right now because it won't make John pound for pound best in the world if he goes out and beats Stipe. If Stipe happens to get the belt, I'm sure the tune will change. But so right now, Dana was saying Stipe signed the belt. It doesn't look like we're going to see that fight. It looks like Jones doesn't care. He'll hold out. His team will hold out. They want to fight for the belt when they're ready. What do you think about that? You think Stipe is going to push for that fight a little bit more? I mean, not that he can, but he can go on social media and stuff and try to coax John into it. What do you think about that?
I think John is wrong. I think that is a huge fight. And I don't know what he's talking about or his management.
A huge fight.
I think he should take the Stipe fight. I think it's an amazing fight. You're talking about a guy that is regarded by many people as having been one of the greater heavyweight champions. And he is already owns a win over Francis.
Right, but he doesn't own the last win over Francis. That's why.
No, he doesn't. I know that. But I'm just saying, and if you just look at Stipe beat the nemesis, the arch nemesis of Jones was DC. Stipe beat DC 2 out of 3. However you want to say he should have had, he had certain fights in his grasp, but he didn't win them. He lost 2 out of 3. Jones won both times against DC. Those two fighting to me would be great, and I don't know why Jones feels like that doesn't. If Jones beats Stipe, his legacy increases.
It increases, but I don't think it increases the same way you're seeing it increase, because what's going to happen is everybody's going to say, oh, Stipe's done, he's old, can't because he lost 2 in a row. I'm not saying he is. I'm not even saying he would be. I'm not saying he couldn't come back.
Who's the person he lost 2 in a row to?
Well, he'll have lost to Francis, and then if Jones beat him, he'll have lost to Jones.
Oh, that would have been the second. No, but that's if.
It is an if, but that's why if you're Jones, the if is if I beat him, it doesn't look good. I understand why they're not taking it, even though I'd like to watch it. I think it's great.
I mean, you just entered the heavyweight division. You want to get the belt shot immediately. I understand your logic there because it's the path of least resistance. But for you to get the Stipe fight upon entrance is a heck of a good deal as well.
Well, let's just say this.
It's your first fight.
Let's just say we already know that Ciryl Gane's next for the belt. So if Ciryl Gane beats Francis, do you think Jones then says, hey, let me try to fight Francis?
No, because then it would be the same scenario that he just gave
Francis
up Stipe
is a lot
because then it would be
younger.
2 losses. No, but it would be the same thing. Your 2-loss scenario could come into play.
It can.
He would want to fight Gane.
I think that's the worst looking matchup for Jones to me, because Gane is...
I don't think Jones cares about what people think about the matchup. He cares about saying, if I beat this guy, now I'm the best ever.
Right, which he would be.
I know, and he might already be.
Right.
He might already
be. That's why there's no question. He goes up and beats... Gane and Francis are both freaks. They're both amazing.
I mean, so is Stipe.
They are.
And so is Stipe.
Well, we got to see.
Stipe already beat Francis.
He beat him a long time ago, though.
Okay, but he beat him.
So that's the thing. I could see the what makes sense. Nobody's beaten Gane in any sport, which is just crazy. I mean, maybe he loses to Francis. Maybe Francis gets one shot. Then do we see Jones say, "I want Gane"? No, probably not. But
no, he's gonna want Francis.
Yeah, I'd like to. I think he's got a great shot against Francis. So.
I mean, I think any one of those 4, no matter, just like with Jose, Corey Sandhagen, and who's the third? Rob Font. Any 3 of them matched up, it works. It's a great fight. The same with these 4. You got Gane, Francis, Jones, and Stipe. No matter what fight you make, you got a fight that no one is really sure who's going to win.
I'm going to tell you what, I'm pretty positive I think Gane beats Stipe. That'd be my one. I think Gon beats Stipe. I just think he's too youthful, too quick, and because that's Stipe's advantage in the heavyweight division. He's normally faster, moves around the cage better than most of the heavyweights, and I think that would be nullified with Gon.
Well, time will tell, because I think they're probably going to meet.
Right. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Right, so let's keep going. This is one of your other favorite fighters here, up and comer here, Sean Brady, injured. So Kevin Lee is now calling out Mike Perry or Bilal. What do you think that looks like?
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Kevin was basically fighting a welterweight fight.
Yeah, I think he's moving up. He's having too hard of a time making the lightweight division. He's going up to welterweight. Is Perry
you got to fight Bilal. Mike Perry, no. What is that? That's wrong.
Perry's still...
Fight Bilal.
Perry's no joke if you actually can take him out of there. If you can finish Perry, people are going to have some respect for you. You can move up. I'm not saying if you beat him, you're going to be his...
Oh, you
champ,
are,
but nobody just goes in there and finishes Perry. The dude is...
No, look, man, I think Mike's a heck of a fighter. Obviously, he's world class. But I think coming from where Kevin was at 155, when he's going up to 170, I think he should go for Bilal. Bilal's like right around the 10 mark. I think it would be a good one. Test yourself at that weight right there. You were going for Brady, who was like a 13 undefeated. So I don't think Bilal. I wouldn't say Bilal's a sure shot to beat Brady either. I think that would be a great match.
Bilal's ranked 9 right now. Brady's ranked 14.
Yeah, but Brady's undefeated.
Listen, Brady's good. He is undefeated.
Yeah.
I personally think he should fight Mike Perry because I think it's a great tune-up fight to see where you're at in the welterweight because Perry is extremely strong.
But Daniel Rodriguez already just beat Perry. Why don't you just go fight Daniel Rodriguez then?
Well, this is his first time going up to... Not first time, but this is his first in a long time. He's going up to welterweight. These guys are a lot bigger. He might want to fight someone who's not on a win streak, on fire. You want...
Well, he's gonna, because if he fights Perry, he's probably going to want to take him to the ground.
Perry is super strong.
Perry's a threat if you want to stand with him.
Right. So I don't know. I just see Kevin Lee was
I don't
looking
like
to stay
that
on
fight.
the card.
I'm not like, oh, that'd be terrible. I wouldn't watch. No, I'd be interested. But what do I think's a better play if you're looking to jump a little bit deeper into the division? Go fight Bilal.
You could always go fight Damian Maia.
If you take the fight, I wasn't sure Damian was even going to take any more fights.
Well, he's
yeah, you could do that too.
He's technically, I think his contract ran out on that last fight. I think the UFC would give him a one-fight deal or a couple. It's Damian Maia. He wasn't done. I don't know.
Who would you rather see though? If you just take Bilal out of the equation,
I'd like to see Kevin Lee fight. I'd prefer he fight Mike Perry. I think it's good to see how he does at welterweight. Kevin Lee's a huge dude at lightweight, but he doesn't look like he's going to be a huge welterweight. I could be wrong.
I'll put it like this. I'd rather see Kevin Lee fight Bilal than Perry, but I'd rather see Kevin Lee fight Perry than Maia.
Yeah, there's always a few...
Because I think it's just going to be a better fight if he fights Mike Perry.
Ponzinibbio's ranked number 13. It's a few good guys.
He's game. That'd be a good one.
Jeff Neal's ranked 10.
That guy's last fight was something.
I don't know when Jeff Neal's making a comeback. He said he was going to take some time off and clear his heads after that last loss. So.
Yeah, he looks like he's on like sabbatical or something,
yeah.
Jeff Neal. They should just take him rankings.
Yeah, he said he's taking some time
off. I noticed they left Garbrandt on the rankings there at 135, but he said he's dropping to 125. And just as a side note, when he drops to 125, I think he could be somebody that almost goes immediately for the belt.
Almost.
He's an immediate
threat. We got to
threat.
See if he makes the weight. That's always a
if
big
he makes
deal.
it, he's an immediate threat to anybody there.
And he has not looked the same lately. He has like the Tyrone Woodley syndrome, where he looks like a deer in headlights out there at times. All the talent, all the skill set Take nothing away from them. They can easily beat anyone at any time. They're just in their own head. They're like a deer in headlamp. And I don't understand it because Garbrandt has incredible hands, incredible chin, super high wrestling skills. I agree. I'm not arguing that, but
it's an
he
exciting
has to.
thought though in my mind, because if you think about it, like, okay, if he went down and you had Garbrandt versus Moreno, that's immediately a good fight.
It is. I'd like to see him warm up against somebody. I'd actually really like to see. First off, I think Figueiredo can beat Moreno if he gets a rematch
Yes.
and he makes the weight properly this time. Because Figueiredo is so big, his weight cuts are crazy. I feel like he had.
No, there's no gimme on that fight. Brandon could win, Figueiredo could win,
Right.
and I feel like
they're one out
Kobe
of one right now.
Kobe
too.
can make weight, he'd immediately be a threat to either one of them.
Right. I feel like Askar Askarov can beat anyone in that division too.
All right, well, we'll see about that one. What's the next? What do we got in this?
Derek Lewis
What do we got
is our
cooking?
last guy. We're going to just talk about where does Derek Lewis go from here?
I would like to see him fight Rosenstruck. They've never fought, and I think that would be a good matchup.
Not that I don't want to see them fight, but I don't probably want to see them fight because I feel like we're going to get Derek Lewis and Rose.
A boring fight?
Super boring. Nobody's going to want to throw shots. The reason why Gon's so good is he's the one taking control, and these guys just can't hit him. But these other guys, Rosenstruck, dominated by, what's it called, for 5 rounds and gets a 2-second knockout at the end. I mean, his hands are incredible power, too. Just like Lewis, incredible power. But they sit there and wait for the counter. And I feel like we're going to sit there. They're going to just...
That's what I see. It just makes sense rank-wise, and they never fought. That's my opinion, is Lewis versus Rosenstruck. Is it going to be the best fight? It may turn out, just like you said, to be a mope of a fight. But I think that's the move.
I'd like to see Volkov go up against the Black Beast again. I feel like he could have beat him that first time. Just made a crucial error.
Didn't Volkov just book up already, though? Who's he fighting?
Did he book up? I'm not sure if he just booked up.
I thought he took a fight to somebody that was, like, further up the rankings, but he took it.
Yeah, good for Shamil? Or Tybura.
Oh, yeah, that's
Marcin
it.
Tybura, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So he took that
Tybura.
fight. That's going to be a good one, though. But I wanted to bring up a couple other things real quick.
Yeah.
Just to add to the list, just to finish this off. One was, what do you think about Tony Ferguson? I'm thinking Tony Ferguson, as far as I know, he's not booked, and neither is Dan Hooker. I'd like to see it.
I'd like to see it. That will be the test if Ferguson has anything left in the tank.
That'd be a fun fight.
I feel like Ferguson, if he can't win this fight, he needs to just retire. He's taken more damage than any other dude out there. In style, he's taking it, though. My gosh. Literally, Beneil, broke his foot in the thing, and he didn't tap. You just saw him in pain, crying, out there. My God. Sometimes being that tough is not good. Honestly.
Speaking of Beneil, who do you think he should fight?
If I'm Beneil, so Gaethje's already booked, right? He's supposed to fight Chandler.
Right, Chandler.
I'm Beneil. I'm pushing for Charles.
Yeah, if Dustin doesn't take it, go for Charles.
I'm pushing for...
That would be a good one.
I feel like that's a good matchup for Beneil, actually. Listen, I think Charles can beat pretty much anyone in the division right now. The guy has grown to be incredibly talented. He has every skill set needed now. But Beneil is such a good grappler. I feel like him and Charles would be a chess match out there. I feel like it'd be really good.
I like it.
I also don't want to sleep on Islam's ranked 5 right now. I know Beneil probably doesn't want to take that, but if I'm Beneil and you beat...
But Islam, I thought he booked up, didn't he?
Who did he book? Yeah, but he can turn around quick. These guys turn around quick.
Who's Islam booked with? I thought he was already lining up a fight.
Dos Anjos.
Oh yeah, Dos Anjos. That's a good one.
I think Islam murders Dos Anjos out there. I think Rafael has got no shot against him. He's much older. He thinks he's young. No shot. I think Beneil...
But say if that does happen, if Beneil didn't get the shot at Charles, I think the only way Beneil doesn't get a shot is if he doesn't push for it and Dustin wants it. One of those two scenarios could bump him out. But if Dustin doesn't want it, these other two guys are fighting, Gaethje and Chandler. You have a great opportunity. You got to show that you really want it, and I think he'll get it.
If I'm Dustin, I'm not taking it. I just made, $16 million, and Conor wants to fight me again. Big deal, I got to wait a year. I made 16 mil. I'll make another 16 mil fighting Conor again.
That's right.
That's how I'm thinking about it. But if I'm Beneil, I'm either waiting for Islam, because if you beat Islam, even though he's ranked number 5, Islam's the hottest dude in the division, you're guaranteed a title shot. Or I'm pushing for Charles off the bat.
I agree with what you said about I wouldn't criticize Dustin if he waited, but I think it would be exceptionally even more money, breaking out like an old swingers term. Like, that's money, but what would be really money is if you went and got the belt from Charles and then fought Conor again. That would be really money, Mike.
It would be really money, but he might fall off a little bit if he takes a loss to Charles. And then you never know what Conor's thinking. This guy's got...
True, but he might not take a loss. He might take the win.
He might. That's a big if, though. That's a big if. That's a huge if.
I know. But it's getting something also in his arsenal that he's never had. He only had an interim.
Right. No, it is. It should be a big deal to him, but if I'm him, I'm holding. Because if I take that loss to Charles, you never know. Conor might say I'm taking Diaz. It's more money for me. You're no longer relevant.
No, they're both still relevant. Diaz just lost to Leon, and it's still relevant.
But yeah, that's why
It's just because they're huge names.
Right, but Dustin...
They already have the built-up drama. Those guys could easily build on that. Doesn't matter the win. But if he gets the belt, now there'll be so many haters that are like, how the heck could Conor possibly be getting the belt here too? How does he? This is bull. How is this even happening? And then everyone will want to watch it because they'll all want Conor to lose. But then you'll have all the Conor heads that are like, he deserves it, and he has a potential of this is hilarious.
Yeah, he might get the belt. He doesn't deserve the belt, that's for sure. But
I'm just saying, if you beat the guy with the belt, then you deserve the belt. But the opportunity, people are going to say doesn't even deserve it. But if he does win, then he is the belt holder.
Right. Well, we got what's it called, knocking at the door, man. Islam beats Dos Anjos. He's knocking. I'm pushing for the belt if I'm Islam.
Yeah, and I think Beneil should be pushing right now in the in-between.
I agree. I think Beneil should be pushing hard.
Dustin is probably chilling. Because he's got... Dustin's... if he plays his cards right, he's set for life. Beneil probably is not.
I feel like Dustin already is set for life. That's
what I'm saying. He probably is, as long as he doesn't...
Yeah, he's been in there a long time making very good money, and now he fought Conor. He made millions upon millions. How is he not set for life? You know?
Well...
Plus, he makes money with other stuff.
In professional sports, but I don't want to get into that. The point being is that Beneil should be in a little bit more of a hurry to set this up because he has that window.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Where Dustin might be taking a little bit of a vacation here. Beneil might be a little bit more grinding. But who knows? Dustin could be in the gym every day. I don't really know.
We know he's in the gym. We know he's in the gym every day. We just don't know if he's in training camp every day. He stays ready. There's no question. Almost everybody on this roster pretty much stays ready, whether they're in fight ready. But
once you start getting that type of money, Conor money, it becomes more opportunities to not stay ready are there.
Right. No, I think he stays. I think he stays ready. I get that
because this is new to him. He's not. Conor's been in the money now for a bit. But even Conor hasn't been in the money that long. He's been in the money like 6 years maybe. But it seems like he's been in the money so long because he's the only one that was really been in the money in the UFC.
Yeah, but he's in a different money league, so it doesn't even matter.
I know that, but I'm just saying it's relatively new. He, even himself, is not some seasoned veteran having old money. He's a guy that has been wealthy for about 5 years now. Now, Dustin has been... that upper level of getting wealthy for not even a month, 2 months. You don't really know what type of toll that's going to take. That's similar to a lot of people when you're like, oh, they're going to still be doing this or that. Yeah, you thought that until they got this level of money, and it can sometimes corrupt you. More money, more problems sometimes, even though I would like to give that a shot anyways and have more money and see if I have more problems. But because I might argue that I'll have less problems, but we do see a lot of examples where more money is more problems. So it depends on how you handle it.
Right. Right.
Mike Tyson could be an example, and he could tell you when more money wasn't always the best thing for him.
Yeah, poor guy, Tyson.
And there's tons of examples of that. Lots of professional sports. It's not just Mike. There's tons of examples where
there is. Antoine
you're
Walker,
like,
I think.
Wow, how did you
how'd you
blow $80 million? Well, and Antoine really got hit by being nuts. I don't want to get too sidetracked with this, but basically Antoine got hit because he kind of went in big on real estate, and when the real estate market got crushed, he got crushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He got crushed.
It is what it is. At the ending here, though, I just want to shout kudos and respect to Jacare Souza, who just retired. Man, what a beast!
Oh yeah, he was one of my favorites to watch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's one of my all-time favorites.
Legend. Yep. So respect to Jacare, man. Dude's tough as nails, been around forever, and went out with a very rough, forearm break. I heard that when I heard that thing snap.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I can still hear it.
I watched that one with you. That was unbelievable too. That he just stood there like nothing even happened. Just so tough.
He didn't even.
Just so tough.
Yeah, he didn't even grimace. Holy cow!
Just, unbelievable. Well,
yeah.
All right, that's it. Then that's all the topics we got, right? That's all we got for you guys today.
Yep, that's it, man. Hot topics.
All right, we will see you guys very soon. Next week, we got a looking like a crappy card, but I'm sure they'll change that soon. Later.